teachers having itching ears. All this is happening right now today. And Paul also said that they cannot come unless there come a great falling away first. That falling away has happened. It is happening. It's going to continue to happen. People have fallen away from the truth of the Word of God and heaped unto themselves those teachers that we talked about. They believe the doctrines of devil. They're seeking to please themselves. They want to get what they want to get. They're lovers of self more than lovers of God. It is so plain. It's in your faith. And the church needs to see it. And not only we'll all sit here and say we see it, but we need to understand the seriousness of it. But we need to understand what is going on. We need to understand how close we are. Back to Matthew 24. Here's something you ain't seen yet, but you're going to see. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then many shall be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Keep your finger right there. Jump to Luke chapter 21, verse 12. Verse 12, but before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle it therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what you shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolks and friends. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Back to Matthew 24. Then, after all these signs that we talked about, what is next on the scene? What is the next thing to come before Christ comes? Here it is. Then they shall deliver you up. And you shall be persecuted. I'm already persecuted. They call me Bible thumper and stuff. You don't know persecution. But it's coming. Not here in the United States of America. Yeah, here in the United States of America. If you can't see the beginnings of it already, you're blind. Listen, this is Christ talking about what will happen before the end. And what Christ said. Not only wars and rumors of wars, not only famine and pestilence, not only earthquake. Paul said not only people acting like people are acting and turning from the truth, but then Christ goes on and said not only will all that happen, but they're going to deliver you up. And you're going to be persecuted. And you're going to be jailed. And some of you will be killed. And you will be hated. You'll be betrayed by your own family. Your own family won't want anything to do with you. And they will hate you. Are we ready for that? Well, yeah. I'm ready. I'll stand for Christ no matter what.
Yeah, right.
Listen. We're not ready. Well, we better get ready. Because it's coming. It is coming. And the church is not ready. The church is too comfortable. The church is too focused on ourselves. The church is too focused on God being a big piggy bank in the sky and just giving me stuff. That's all we think about is those kind of things. But listen, Christ said, I didn't make it up. I didn't come up with it. Christ said all these things that we talk about, the famines, the earthquakes, and war, that's just the beginning of sorrows. Then they shall deliver you up, and you shall be persecuted, and you shall be hated, and you shall be jailed, and your family's going to hate you, and everybody's going to turn against you, and some of you will be killed. And we're not ready. We are not ready. Listen, he goes on. Many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. He didn't say, he that said the prayer one time, he that had his name in the book, he that did this or he did that. He said, he that endure. What does that mean? You got to go through something. You have to endure something. What do you have to endure? What he just said. They shall deliver you up, and they shall persecute you, and some of you shall be jailed, and all the other things that he talked about. And only he that endure to the end shall be saved. And I'm telling you something. We are not ready. I said this a couple weeks back. I think I even posted it online somewhere. You say you would die for Christ, but you won't even get up on Sunday morning and go to church for Christ. How can you say you can stand when these sort of things come? You cannot stand. You will not stand in the condition that you are right right now. Church, we are too comfortable. We need to get ready. We need to get pumped up. We need to get strengthened. We need to get filled with the Holy Ghost of God in order to be able to stand the things that are going to come. We say, yes, I can endure. I can endure. Listen, you can't even endure when somebody looks at you funny.
Amen.
How many people are not sitting in church this morning because they didn't like something somebody said, or how somebody looked at them, or some other silly thing that drove them out of church? If they can't endure that, how are they going to endure the things that are to come? We're not ready. We need to get ready. I want you to think about this. I want you to give it serious consideration. These things have happened all around the world, and I believe they're going to come here. What would you do if somebody come in that back door with a gun and put it to your head and said, deny Christ or die? It's easy to sit here this morning and say, oh, I would not deny Christ.
Sure.
But are you sure? You know what this flesh wants more than anything? To survive. And if your flesh is stronger than your spirit, you're going to cave. You're going to crumble. Suppose they come and take your little grandchild that you love with all your heart, that you would die for. Suppose they come and take your little grandchild, say, unless you deny Christ, this one died. Could you do it? It may come to things like that. I don't know. I do know what Christ said. He said, after all these other signs, then they shall deliver you up. Then you will be persecuted. Then some of you will be killed for my sake. Christ said these things were going to come. Well, Brett, we don't have to worry about it. Because where anything like that happens, we're going to get raptured. You sure? Things like that are happening now. Today. You can believe whatever you want to believe about the rapture. I don't care. Pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib, I don't care. These things I just read to you are happening today. Take a look at some of the countries around the world. Well, the United States is special. Ain't gonna happen. You know what? Israel was special in God's eyes. And I believe the United States was set up by God. I believe that. But so was Israel. And when they turned their back on God, look what happened to them. Who do we think we are? We need to stop and start thinking about these things. You can believe that you'll get raptured before anything bad happens, but you're deceiving yourself because these things are happening now. Just because they're not in your neighborhood, just because they're not down the street, just because you ain't experiencing it doesn't mean it isn't happening. It is happening. And I will tell you this, you can believe me or not, you can think I'm full of mud or I'm a fool or whatever you want to think. There are people in our government this day, right now, who would love nothing better than to shut you up.
Yes. Right.
Shut me up.
That's right. Yeah.
To lock those doors back there. There are people in our government who despise Jesus Christ. There are people in our government who despise true Christianity. There are people in our government who would love nothing more than to see us just go away.
That's right.
We're not ready. That last verse that I read is key, and you better get it, and you better understand it. He that shall endure to the end shall be saved. We better get it. We better understand it. We better realize this is serious stuff. This is serious business. We need to get our focus off of what God can give us. The things and the stuff and the wealth and whatever else and all of that. God does things like that? Yes, He does. God blesses us with things? Yes, He does, because He is an amazing and a wonderful God. But we better get focused on getting ourselves strong. We better get focused on getting ourselves to a place where we can endure. We better get focused on being able to stand when it's just almost impossible to stand. We got to get our hearts and our minds in the right place. Because if we don't, many of us are not going to make it. Listen, we have been so convinced that if I said that sinner's prayer one time when the preacher said it and I repeated after him, from there on out everything's good. If that was the case, that's what it would say in the book.
That's right.
It would say in there, not he that endures to the end shall be saved. It would say he that said the prayer would be saved. But that's not what it says. You got to be able to stand. You got to be able to not reject Christ. You got to be able to not deny Christ. You got to be able to go through these things and endure these things, because that's what he said. Not because that's the way I like it, not because that's the way I want it, not because that's the way I made it up, but because that's what he said. And we need to understand that. And we need to get a hold of that. We need to examine our own lives. Really, seriously, search ourselves. And make sure that we're in a place where if and when these things come, we can stand up to them. We can go through them. We can endure it. We have to make sure we're ready to do that. God put this on my mind, so I got to say it. Maybe somebody's questioning the whole rapture thing. I could give you all the scriptures. We don't have time for all that, but I'm going to tell you something. Paul said, that day shall not come except there come a great falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the Antichrist. I see nothing between the falling away and the Antichrist that says I'm out of here. I can also read you over and over in the book where it says that the Antichrist makes war with the saints. Who are the saints? We are the saints. Born-again children of God are the saints. How can he make war with somebody who's not here? And again, I'm not going to get into all that. If you really want to know, I preached a message on it quite a while back. If you want a copy of it, I'll get you a copy of it. But listen, suppose I'm wrong. You're right. We are raptured before the Antichrist rises. That doesn't mean you get out of anything, because as I said, the things we've talked about are already happening. They're going on now. Look at North Korea. Look at a lot of the African nations. Look at a lot of the Middle East nations. Just look around the world. These things are happening now. And you can delude yourself and deceive yourself and think it ain't never going to happen here. You can do that if you want to do that. Listen, we are still the most blessed nation on this earth, but I don't think that's going to hold up for very much longer. You can agree or disagree. It really doesn't matter to me, but you answer me a question. How can God bless a nation who condones murder?
Amen.
Amen.
Will God bless a nation that condones murder? Will God bless a nation that condones homosexuality and homosexual marriage and all those other things? Will God bless a nation that condones all that and legislates sin into law?
Bless Sodom.
That's not my God. That's not the God of that book. He's not. And again, you can agree or disagree, and I'm not going to get political or anything like that. I'm going to wrap this up. I believe God, through the last election and maybe the next one, has given us a little bit of a reprieve.
That's right.
But I believe it's only a short reprieve. And I believe the church better take advantage of it and do what they can do. Work while we can work. Prepare while we can prepare. And the place we need to prepare above all else is here. We need to prepare ourselves. We need to be ready. We need to be strong. Listen, if all somebody ever wants out of the church is a social club or a happy, joy factory or, teach me how to make money or whatever that is, That's doctrines of devils. And that's exactly what Paul talked about, and that's exactly what the church is chasing. We need to get back to the book. We need to get back to this and begin to live this once more and begin to prepare ourselves for what may come around the corner. You have no idea. Jesus said it, and I'm going to be done. He said, we'll have the wars, we'll have the rumors of wars, we'll have the famines, we'll have the earthquakes in diverse places. All these things would happen. Paul said people would begin to act like we see people acting. He said people would turn away from the faith. They would give heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. They would heed to themselves teachers having itching ears. All those things are now. And Jesus said, and then they will deliver you up. And you will be persecuted, and you will be jailed, and some of you will be killed. That's what's next. That's what's next on the timeline. As far as I can understand it, as far as I can find in this word, that's what's next. And this is the key again. He that endures to the end shall be saved. And I want you to ask yourself this question. If you give up on the church because somebody said something, or somebody looked at you the wrong way, or you didn't like how things were done, or you didn't like the kind of songs, or whatever other lame brain excuse we give, if you give up on the church because of that, how are you going to stand up to these kind of things that he's talking about?
That's right. That's right.
Listen, maybe this ain't your kind of church. Maybe my personality rubs you wrong, whatever. Then find a church where you can worship and serve God in truth. It don't have to be this church. That's not what I'm preaching. But you need the church. You need the church. And if it's not here, then find a place where you can get the word and where you can worship and where you can serve. But make sure that that place teaches this and nothing but this. I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave that with you. Now, I'm going